Good morning. It is just after 10:30 a.m. It is Sunday, and that means it is time for Sunday Club, a weekly Ruby on Rails live stream where each week we do some Rails coding and build an app together. And the app that we are working on at the moment is about event registrations, and hopefully we're going to work on that today and build it towards group registrations. So let's dive straight in with the elephant in the room, which is that I am not very well. So I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am a bit sick. I have a headache, and I wasn't sure whether to do this or not, but then I don't like lying in bed not feeling very well. So I thought I would write some Rails code while not feeling very well. And we'll just see how long this goes for, because if I get worse, I've taken some painkillers, but if I get worse, I am testing negative for COVID, so I think it's just a bug that I've picked up from somewhere. All right, let's not worry too much about that. Let's assume that I'm fine. Let's go and write some code instead. But what that does mean, I don't do any prep for this stream anyway, but I have done even less than normal. So we're gonna kind of pick something up off the backlog and work our way through it. I think there's a couple of bugs that we've got listed, so we can just fix those. It's gonna be a very relaxed bit of coding today. I am not getting into anything too crazy. So I'm just going to jump over to the other screen. Sorry, I'm just prepping it in the background. Okay, maybe we could build a homepage. Maybe that'd be a nice thing to do with a Sunday morning, not feeling too well. So I've got Notion up, which is where we're kind of keeping a really loose set of things to do. Oh man, this is going to be a fun one. Okay. This is coffee. This is going to make me feel better. I'm just going to caffeine my way through this. User can register for account. What have we got in here? Add link to sign up to the homepage. Add link to sign in to the homepage. Okay, so at the moment, the only users that can really use the system are the organizers, the event organizers, because the registration process we've got for events doesn't make you register to purchase, so we don't have this idea of are you a user or not. We haven't introduced that, so that one's a maybe. Let's see what we've got for a bug. Order fails to save when validations fail. Okay, probably could have done with writing. That was probably from the stream, but that feels like something we could resolve. Okay, I'm just gonna go, and door is banging in the wind, so I'm just gonna go and move that for a second. Hang on, give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna there we go. Sorry, it's windy around here. All right, bug order fails to save when validations fail. Let's get into that. Be a nice thing to kind of So you probably guessed I haven't gone back and fixed the long work in progress branch, the perennial thing on this stream. So let's check this then. So we signed in? No. But we can be. Great. Okay, so we're now signed into our admin area. And so we have an event which has a public page. We can probably open that in a private window. And that means we can then buy a ticket. What was the bug? What was the wording? Order fails to save when validations fail. Order fails to save when validations fail. Isn't that what should happen? If the validations fail, oh man, I must have been doing something else. So let's just put some stuff in here. Well, that's an email. Okay, so that's going through. Oh, this is one of those ones I'm going to have to bump into again, I think. Or go back and look for the stream where we wrote that, because I'll have the date in Notion as to when I did it. Order fails to save when validations fail. Oh, the instance variable. Oh, right. Okay, right. Okay, so the instance variable. Okay, this is actually yeah, this is useful. So the instance variable is not reassigned. Okay, so that's presumably in here. So we have a new order created here. All of this order is still available. So did I resolve this with this? Is that the issue? So when an order fails, so we build an order, we have save here, that would perform the validations, I assume. If those validations fail, I don't know what validations we have. Let's go take a look. Order number, owner name, owner email, attendee. I've forgotten all about attendee. Okay, so that's the record we create that actually represents the person going. Okay. And if that fails, oh, I see. So I think this was, hey, it would be nice if you put in what you are building in the description of the video so new people can have an idea of what's going on. That is a really good point. I should do something like that. And I have the code from last video. Hello, by the way, in the in the channel, in the chat. I actually have the code from the last app that we built, so I could even do that en masse, like go through and put a little blurb in to point people to, and maybe like in the Notion doc, write something up. So I do agree with you. I'm not going to commit to a timescale for that because A, I'm not very well today, and B, I don't spend enough time on this when I'm not streaming. But I will try. I promise. Good morning. Hello in the chat. Yeah, I wish I felt better. I'm trying to work out. I've just got out of the shower. I'm trying to work out if I'm clammy because I've just got out of the shower or if it's because I'm sick. I don't like how long it's been that I've got out of the shower and I'm still feeling clammy. That's not a great feeling. Well, but make us a bit loose this morning. We're just doing some coding while sick. That's okay. All right. So I think when this bug happened, it was because the attendee was failing to build, right? So this is creating an association here. Right, so let's fail the attendee and see if we can recreate this bug. So there's actually no validation on attendee, so it doesn't. Let's just comment this out because I think it's going to validate that needs to be there. So let's try. I'm just trying to recreate this bug. So the name can be anything, just a character, and this can just be an email address. Let's see if this fails. Oh, okay. And what was the description of the bug? Order fails to save when validations fail. Okay, so but that failed. I'm just not showing the error message here. I think I've just written a really quick bug report and not actually tracked what I think is supposed to be happening here. I have to go back and chase that down. So that's failed as expected, but I'm not showing the error message anywhere. So it's just coming back to here. Since variable. All right. I'm not well enough to go back chasing through whatever I was trying to achieve here. That bug will have to stay in the backlog, I think. But we'll figure that out because that seems like something that will rise very quickly to the top when we find out. All right. So users can register for account. Users can update details. Admin can see a list of attendees. So presumably the end state that we want to get to is at the moment when you are creating this order, we're not asking you to create a user account. It's just a name and email address. It's just a record at the database. So that was deliberate, just so that we could get something up and running. But presumably what we want to do is what most like kind of ticketing sites do is that you can place an order without creating an account and just pay your money and pay enter your details, do whatever you want to do. But you can also then optionally create an account. And the idea there is that you could buy multiple tickets over time and have access to them all and things like that. Sometimes what you get is I booked a holiday recently, and you don't get any kind of like user login to the system. You get your booking number and your surname act as your reference to get to your previous one. So that's sort of how they get around like not knowing your email address. They're like, as long as you have those two things, you can get back to your details. So even if you've put a typo in your email address, because that's often the argument for forcing a user account to be created before a purchase. Is often for the invoice and the everything else around it. Whereas you can offer depending on your security needs, you could offer an alternative way to get back to the thing that has been purchased. You just need like two things that they might have had. You really are putting the burden on the user at that point, because they have to kind of still have their booking reference, because you haven't been able to email it because there was potentially a typo in their email address. And they would have seen it on that final screen, and hopefully they wrote it down or downloaded it or something like that. But it's not a mandate for a ticketing site that you have to create an account before you do it. But I think that's something we want to sort of explore a little bit. So we have an admin nav bar. I'm just gonna take these in order, by the way. So I'm gonna add a link to sign up to the homepage and sign into the homepage. So let's do some more view component stuff. I think let's make the other nav bar, stick it on the homepage, shall we, and see what we can reuse. Yeah, and I would try and tackle something more ambitious today, but I'm not very well, so we're gonna just do what we can. All right, we have admin navbar, and we have site nav navbar. Oh, we have one. Okay, why is it not on the homepage? Let's go to the homepage. Okay, it's just not there. And it just says sign in. It doesn't link anywhere. It just says sign in, or you are signed in. Okay, so we're obviously just demonstrating that logic worked. So where's the Ruby? So we can then search for this. Okay, so it is in the header. So we have rendered it out somewhere, somehow. So current user is the devise helper that would tell us if we had a user. And yeah. Oh, okay. We've commented this out. This must have been when we were doing the admin one. Now if we refresh this back in. Oh, I'm guessing it's this blue thing. We can get rid of this. Okay, yep, so sign in. So it is there. Okay, cool. So if we do this on the admin area, do you get both? You do. Okay, so we want one or the other. So, oh, do we want one or the other? If you're in the admin area, you get this nav bar. Yeah, and I think if you're anywhere else, you get the other nav bar. You just get your normal one, I guess. Yeah, again, without having a UI design, we're sort of flying in the dark. But okay, so how do we do one or the other? Because we've got these in, at the moment, we've got these in two separate places. So how have we done the admin one? Admin shared navbar. Oh, maybe I didn't intend for that to be. Are these always mutually exclusive? What would be in the one? What would be in the one that exists all the time? It would be like the logo, sign in, your user preferences. Whereas I think we were looking to do those potentially in here. Yeah, and maybe I've taken the kind of, again, without any planning, just because we've done them as separate things. Maybe there would just be a navbar component, and it would know whether you were an admin or not, and what page it was on, and you pass all that in as an argument. You could do it that way, I guess. All right. So what we want to do is work out how to make these one or the other. And at the moment, I don't think we're going to be able to do that how we've done it here, because we are putting the we're putting the global one in shared header. Let's open that. which is, I think that was just that one liner we were just looking at. Yeah, okay. So we can just lift that out. There's nothing else in there for now. Put that back as commented out, just in case we do want to do something with that. And content for content. What is admin actually doing then? Just setting everything inside there. Because could we do something like this with this? Would this be awful? I can't remember. I think it's some. I think you just pass it a string, don't you? Do we do that in the application admin base controller? Yeah, layout admin, layout default. I forgot it there twice now. Okay, I haven't saved. Okay, so that gets us our end result. Is that a good idea or is that a bad idea? So we basically treat application layout as the wrapper for the other layouts, which always define this content block. And in application controller, I then just set the default as default. Application controller here, so the layout is default. So everything by default will sort of inherit that default one. But the only thing it's actually doing is wrapping our header. Is adding our header. So presumably we could also put this. I don't know if it would come under the site nav. I think it probably wouldn't. Maybe. Site nav, maybe. You could have this as well. And then oh god, I really hope I haven't got COVID. And this would be on all the pages, and then in the admin one, you're just saying this happens to be admin shared navbar, but I'm guessing that only has one line in it as well. Yeah, because I don't think we even need that as a partial particularly. Like this could just be you could treat the components as the partial, which I think is what you're supposed to do anyway. This feels fine, I guess. I'm not sure if there are any performance implications of adding a block through there. So let's so this sort of comes onto, let's style that up a little bit, because this comes onto the idea of treating the CSS as localized to the component, but then when you start to get really similar components about how you might extract that out. So this goes away. If we had lent into the Tailwind CSS aspect, this would all go away, because we would I guess you'd still have that problem, because you'd still have the batch of classes that you would need to keep in sync, because you can't just wrap them all in a component, because you need each individual what am I trying to describe here? Like this looks ugly, right? But it doesn't matter, because it's the CSS we care about. So this is like a flexbox layout that changes at a certain viewport, and the drop downs change and blah blah blah. Like there's a bunch of CSS rules already in there, just a few, and we want the same rules to apply to this one as well, but they don't inherit necessarily. We are assigning them to individual elements within it. I'm not describing it very well. I'm so not very well. let's show. Let's kind of trying to do the thing. Site navbar component. This one. Okay, great. So at the moment we've just got a blue box around it. That's pretty boring. Oh, is that file blank now? Can we get rid of that? This one, yeah, we can just delete this. I should leave the shed header there because I think the shed folder, we might use that. That can go. All right, so on this side, let's put some CSS. And on this side, let's put the actual HTML. Okay, and so site nav bar, and let's do our other one as well. Actually, so let's do our admin navbar component. So that's on this side, and the HTML can go on this side. Okay, so we've sort of got two ideas here, and yes, I think this probably slightly goes away a little bit because you can start to see that actually these will all become eventually view components rather than having to worry about the CSS within them. Maybe that does sort of. I just think even if you did use Tailwind, you'd really need to make sure that the rules within each of these subcomponents would always need to be consistent. So what do I mean? So let's take this as an example. This box shadow, we want to be the same between them. So do we just fall back to a variable file for navbars and have a variable called this? Do we move this as a CSS class up to just be called like navbars, and that's a group of CSS that exists above the components but is in that namespace? Do we have like a namespace CSS file? That seems not great because you're moving the, like you would be a layer of abstraction above the idea at the moment, which is put the CSS file next to the HTML, like literally in the same folder and with the same name. Okay, so let's grab this. We don't need the position relative yet. So let's keep going. Actually, what's in here? Because we don't have the user name, we don't have first name or last name. But this is a perfect example. So we could put in a little circle with the first character in, which we've done in the other one here. Right, okay, because then that becomes another subcomponent. So the little avatar itself could become a little component that we pull in. This is current. You just didn't have put item component. Okay, right. Maybe this is helping me think about how we're going to structure all of these view components. What's in here then? Yeah, okay. So all of this becomes its own view component. That's the little circle here. And I know how ugly this is, but sort of follow along with me. That's the little circle here that represents a user. So we could potentially just pass that a user. And I think at the moment we pass it literally the character, yeah. So it's just the first letter of their email address or name or something. Oops. There we go. Interesting, right? I've not been thinking potentially granularly enough about the view components. Let's try and get into that. And so this one is so if there's a current user, let's do the other side. So if there is no other user, we want to have this be a link. And it is just one of those devise path things, right? Like it's New user session. Oh no, that's sign in. User password. New user registration path. There we go. No, that's sign up. I do want new user session path. That's sign in. And then let's do the other one as well. Let's have sign up then. Kind of the defaults for devise. New user registration path. Okay, and these we would want. I think we just plonk them on the right hand side for now, right? But we probably want to style these consistently. Okay. Just wrap them in those for now. We can come back and make them a list or something. But that helps us with make this. Oh, because I didn't make it display. Cool. So I added justify content, but justify content will only work if it's a display flex. So we need to add that one as well. And cool. I don't think sign up will work because we've bumped into this in the past. At the moment, I think confirmable is turned on and you have to confirm. So I think you'd basically sign up and then it would immediately block you from doing anything more. Like I haven't configured any of that stuff. So I think it would probably create the account but immediately kick you out. And then I don't know if we've rigged up the email stuff for that, but this should now work. So that's fine for you're not signed in. But here, if you are signed in, let's take this one to the home page. Right, cool. So let's see if we can make this that little icon character thing. So see if we can extract that out. So in here, admin account number, user avatar icon. Yep, that's just a different one. Okay, so where is that going to live? We want component. I don't know how to name these. Do we just start chucking everything in the root directory until we start to spot namespaces? Or is this automatically a user thing? I don't even know how to, like, whether it's plural or singular or anything like that. Let's just, I feel like namespacing, I just feel like the volume of these is going to be so high that namespacing is possibly worth it. So it could be user, and then what do we call it? I called it avatar icon. Okay. Okay, and so you always need 3 of these. You need the RB file, the output file, and a SAS file. And so let's do the RB file first. And we want it to equal avatar icon component. Yeah, avatar icon component. And it would be user. Okay, and so this goes back to the idea of passing individual attributes until you have like 2 or 3. I think this is what the doc said. And then after that, just pass in the entire thing. So I think we want to take a look at the thing we're extracting out, which is, we can close this one. This, and it's literally a character. So user avatar character is the name of the thing at the moment. So we can just keep that, I think. Oh, where's the RB file gone? There. User avatar character, user avatar character, user avatar character. So at some point, I'm assuming we might want to pass in the image, like rather than making it a color in the background, it might be an image. It might be need an alt text. Like you can start to see how you would build this individual component out, but how you can extract it out in the meantime. So let's use avatar character. So in here, I think we just want, I'm going to close this one on the, I'm just going to shrink it right down on the right hand side. We don't need that right now. Everything's over here. So let's go back and say this is our HTML. I'm going to copy it for now because I just want to remember where it lives. I can go in there. And so now we don't need any of this BEM stuff previously, do we? Well, we can't do. That would have to go in a wrapper around it. That's kind of why I wanted to keep that other HTML. So this is admin account navbar item. So that's nothing to do. Avatar dash icon, and this is user avatar icon. Okay. So we might need to swap all of them out because this, I think, is styling how this looks. So let's go and see what this is doing. Okay, so let's copy this for now. We're going to come back and erase that. I think we want to make this go away altogether. I hope this is making some sense what I'm doing, but I think we'll end up with something a little neater. So here, and now we can change this name because this is now specific to the component, and the component is called the user avatar icon. Yeah, user avatar icon component. Okay. So all that can stay there. Just move that over there. And that can be instead of this one, because we've just lifted that out. And what is this one doing? This is more from the admin area. This is changing its color and making it position absolute. So this one's putting it around the other one. So this one can go as a wrapper, because all we really want to do is we're trying to make the CSS put one on top of the other. In that example, what do I mean by that? Oh shit! Go back. Here, so we're putting one on top of the other here. Whereas what we want is this circle to be a view component, and the content that we pass into it to all be related to that. The fact that one then lives on top of the other, that's the that's this. Oh, actually, it's this component's problem. It's not this view component's problem. So we could just wrap the component in this. At the moment, this is part of the component, but we don't need to do that. Although we might want to pass in a color. Maybe maybe we could actually pass the color into the component. That could be like a nice. So in here we could have background color. Cool. I don't know, there's no particular reason I'm doing that. It's just, oh shit, can I? Oh yeah, we could just set it in the CSS for just pass through. That seems fair enough. So this is set. We can leave the other one, but we can then take this out from the component. We don't care about that. And we can have style. background color, and that can be, oh no, we just want it to be ERB. That can be background color. And we would want some validation somewhere that that needs to be a valid CSS color of some sort, but I'm just kind of playing fast and loose at the minute. So that, we'll render that with this styling. Okay. And what's the third file we've got for it? It's that, that, and that. So we've set all that up correctly. Now we want to swap it out, and it lives here. So we're going to come in and do render user avatar. I've already. How do I just call it? Avatar thing? Avatar icon. New. And then we're going to pass it the two things we just had. User avatar character. And background color. Oh, I'm not worried about that. Background color. No, I put the U in there, didn't I? And we can just pass a value in here. What did we call it? It was like goldenrod or something. Where was it? It was in the admin navbar component. Dark goldenrod. Okay, so that can go from there. Okay, so we should have something coming out now. Let's open a page in another tab. I have no idea. Like, that's pretty messy. I just like stabbed around a bit. Let's try and close all this down and just have one thing on the screen at a time, because I'm gonna get a bit overwhelmed. So this. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. So I should be able to remove. No, because I want second half. So I actually can just comment this out. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's this one here. I want to refresh. User avatar icon component. Yep. Okay. Okay, so we've got them squished, but that's good. And we know that that is because in this user avatar icon, we're doing a bunch more work. Oh, they should still be the right size though. What's going on there? Height 35, width 35. So that's only showing us width 24. Because flex shrink 1 against what? Oh, this is super helpful. Like you can see that it's like this is this didn't used to be here, and it was such a pain in the ass to work out why this was happening. So what this is telling you is like, hey, you've what I think this is telling us is like, hey, you've said this thing should be 35 pixels. Spoiler alert, something is modifying its size, and it's this, and this is why it's ended up as the final size. Because the question I was always trying to answer is like, hey, I've told it to be a thing. Something's messing with that thing. What's messing with it? So now we know that it's because it's set to flex shrink. And I'm trying to work out what's its flex. Parent then, this one here. This one, okay. So what are the other options for shrinking? Or is it like shrink initial? Yeah, maybe that's a red herring because I don't know enough about that. Interesting. Okay. Does this still work? Yeah, okay. I'm going to have to come back to that because I don't know enough about that to dive in. But the thing that we needed to apply was this position absolute. And I think we can just put this around it because this is still performing the same task and the SAS naming still makes sense. So I think if this was just... well, we actually have a div with that class in it already here. We can take that out, move that up to there. Put this inside it. There. So this is representing, hey, I think you should be position absolute and move over here. And then this is saying, hey, I'm a circle that's dark and golden rather than has this character inside of it. I think that's what is supposed to be happening there. Cool, and they've got back to being circles. Okay, so it's obviously something to do with that position absolute. So we now have one of these is this T is now a view component, and the other one, the S, is... Where's the S? The S is just a is still a div. So we can do this again. Right. Okay. So this is a user avatar icon component, and then the other one we have is an organization avatar component. So would we create a view component called avatar icon component and just use that everywhere because they're all identical? Or do we keep them namespace because we think they're different enough? Right, okay, well this is all the fun part of like designing a design system and deciding what lives where and why and all of that cool stuff. And I say this every week, so it's not going to be a shock to anyone, but like normally you would have some sort of plan before you start building stuff. And that would help you figure this stuff out. And we haven't done that. So potentially these are all basically the same. These are all an avatar icon component. And an organization one might have a picture, it might have a letter, might just have a colored background with a letter on top. And I guess when you're kind of designing your view components, you're deciding what shares. So what do I mean by this? So let's take this as an example. Well, we could here, because remember, all we're trying to get is one circle on top of another one. Like that's, and then we already had that, but we're trying to break it out because we now want this. This is on our admin nav bar, but we now want this for all users. So we want to use the same thing elsewhere, which is why we want to extract out into a view component. So here, what we could have is an organization avatar icon component. So this is basically a totally different component. It's namespaced differently. We could perhaps share stuff between them. You could, I guess you could define a class that you pass in that has a bunch of shared attributes or something like that. Like you could do whatever you wanted, I guess. But surely the whole point is that you work out up front if these are basically always the same. And so that could just be like, if they were the same, you could make this... I don't even know whether you would have a prefix, although I think with the volume I would be tempted to namespace everything. But this could be an avatar icon component. This could just be avatar character, as opposed to like avatar image or something. or image path or something like that. That could stay the same because it's always going to be the same. And then you could pass in, this one was khaki and I remember it. Okay, that feels fine. Let's do that. I like that. I don't like the idea of not namespacing things, but I don't know what the namespaces are. So let's just move these three out into components. Let's ditch that. We can lose loads of stuff then. So we can lose all of the user prefixes, I guess. So, oops. That can go. Oops. That can go. All of that can go. So this, then that all goes. That stays because it's a wrapper around. That one goes. I'm not, I think this is incorrect. I think this div might need to end up there, but let's see what that does. Bound to put 1,000 typos in all of that. Okay, so one is square, but I mean, that's not bad. That's for clicking around blindly. That's not that bad. Why is one square? I like that. That's actually pretty cool. I actually quite like the idea of them being different shapes for different things. I didn't check what this stuff is doing, so let's go and check that. So this is inside account navbar item component SAS. This can all go now, right? So that's all been extracted out to components. Let's see if that was doing anything. I think I'd taken the reference to it out, so I think it's good. Okay. So let's actually take a look at why I think this is square. Border radius 50%. Is that not what makes it a circle on the other one? Okay, so there's a container. Oh, is that the one with the background? Background item. Oh, it's because in the org avatar. Okay, right. So this should go. Okay. Because these are just doing the position. Okay, so I think that should now be a circle again. Okay, good. I quite like that. So, right, what have we actually achieved here? We have extracted out these two things into circles and made their behavior consistent. And why do we care about that? Because then if we go back to our homepage here and we want to swap this email address out, we can now grab one of these. And we should have navbar component here. So if you're signed in, you can get one of these. You can chuck it in a div, so it'll be on the right-hand side. I think it'll already be in a div, won't it? Sorry. Yeah, it's already in a div. So don't need that, I don't think. And first. Put cocky on there for some reason. Oh, first dot. Uppercase. 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 Cool. Okay, cool. So now we know that this T is always going to be the same as, well, I've put it in a different, yeah, well, actually we don't, because khaki was the other one, so it's dark golden rod. And what you could put in here is actually a, I mean, I guess you could do whatever you want, but like we could have like an avatar type, and then this could accept like org or user or whatever, and then that would like, you could then have a list of colors inside it, and you could have that, like, you could test that logic, rather than needing to specify on the way in, which would be probably better. So the T there will always be the same as the T here, because they're now the same component, which is pretty cool. So if you sign in here, I know it's like a test 1, 2, 3 example. This should change to the correct thing. Amazing. Okay, cool. And so I guess that fixes these two. Do we care about sign up? What actually happens if you hit sign up at the moment then? So let's sign out. We need to put in some sort of user menu there. This is good. Let's get some basics done. I feel good. I don't feel very well, so getting some basics done is probably a good idea. Let's just sign out of here then. Where's my little cookie helper thingy? Don't I have that installed? Oh, I really want to get that installed. It's really helpful. Oh, I'm not well. I just feel really sick. Oh wow, I'm better doing this than just lying around being helpless. Add-ons and the add-ons. I want add-ons. And I want like the cookie one that has the little cookie icon, because it's really helpful. Which is the one? I want the one I use on Chrome, and I don't know which one it's called. Oh god, there's too many of this. Okay, let's go with the most popular one then. Let's go with Cookie Editor. I do want to run it in private windows because I want to. So in here. Okay, great. So I can just press these and everything. Okay, great. And so just signed out. If you haven't used one of those little cookie editor plugins, I find them super helpful because you're always digging around and they you can get to them through the inspector, but this little thing here is always really helpful. It just tells you what cookies you've got and what values they have. It's super, like, I find it really helpful. People are probably going to tell me that they're now like malware and are stealing all my data and stuff. But I don't think I have it on my personal one anyway. Right, so sign up. What happens if we sign up? I want to do. Cool. So I've done that. Enter a password. Right. What happens now? Cool. Okay. So like I thought, I think I'm not signed in, but I think my user might have just been created. Let's make the font super big. And then try and resize that window down. Oh, I really want to change that setting where that doesn't happen and we can change the font. Let's do that now while we're doing item. Change font without resizing window. Okay, I really want to know how to do this because I've done it on my other user. Okay, I know this is off topic, but this is check this box in item preferences, adjust window and changing font size. What's that in? Preferences general. This is the problem I find with item is that it has selection window, adjust window and changing font size. Yes, amazing. Now we can do that. Oh, amazing. That's exactly what I wanted. Cool. So we want to just check whether that user was made or not. Because I think what's happened is the user was made and yeah, great. And so then we're now having this idea of confirmable coming from devise. And you're basically not confirmed. So the user gets created and you get kicked out straight away. I think you can't even sign in, right? Like, oh, I've just copied that without first and last letter. Yeah, you actually can't sign in because the first page it tries to take you to after signing in, it's like, hey, you're not confirmed, so I can't take you anywhere. So we have to deal with that behavior. So you've got a couple of different options from memory. I think we can set well, we did it on a previous stream where you can set a grace period for unconfirmed users. You can basically say, hey, let them off for a minute, an hour, 2 years, whatever. Like, you can just set a duration of time. The thing that we probably want to do, I think, is yeah, again, we'd need to decide what we want users to be able to do and not do before being confirmed. It's like, do we care about unconfirmed users doing stuff? And if so, what can they do and not do? I think we probably want the inverse, right? Like, there are, in my mind, I'm imagining event organizers being able to say, for this event, only allow verified users or something like that, so that you know their email address is legit, and you could put that brick wall in front of the registration sign up. This comes from my having like built a similar app like this with built it with a plan and actually did some diligence on it. But like that was a really big deal. Like, knowing that they could email those users was of paramount importance to the event organizers. And so, like, yeah, we're willing to tolerate the user experience of being blocked up front by being forced to go and receive an email and get a link or a token or whatever it was. Because we need to be able to say to them, if we have a problem, hey, we must have at least been able to email you once for you to even buy the ticket. That email has worked at some point in the past, and we want to bring all of the friction of that for the user right up front before the purchase happens, rather than like having a typo in the email address, making the purchase, and then discovering that they can't get access to the confirmation email or something like that. But not all event platforms do that, so I'm assuming we would want that to be configurable for the event organizer. And so do we potentially like turn confirmable off by default and only check it later on? And it's just because we've got this backlog item called like you can sign up and sign in, and at the moment you can't sign up, so I'm kind of verbalizing why I think we probably need to care about this. So like devise confirmable, let's just check what they are there. What are the behavior and options we have around that? See if there's anything in their docs. It's weird that's not working. Let's try it, see if it's... It's just being a bit slow. Allow unconfirmed access for... Well, there's a performance issue going on there on their site, I think. So can we set like can we set something in application controller just to not care about this? How do we actually check that users are being confirmed? Because I think you would still want that initial email to go. I think you want that behavior because you want them to like optionally confirm up front. But you don't care that they haven't done it. So I don't want to turn this off. I want to leave it on, but I want to check confirmed manually. I don't want to ever kick them out. I want to decide when I care about them being confirmed. So how do I do that? I think these are all okay. Just jump over to this one. So I want like devise allow unconfirmed. Explicit results filtered with safe search. I don't know what. I don't know what devise allow unconfirmed has thrown up for Google, but something has. I'm very glad that safe search is on there because I'm streaming right now, so I don't really want something to come up. Devise allow unconfirmed. Ooh, okay. I dread to think what safe search is. Just okay. Allow unconfirmed access to access certain pages. Oh, okay, great. So instead of overwriting confirmed, you could just overwrite the confirmation required method. After that, you can handle a confirmation logic yourself by redirecting all unconfirmed users in a before action. When the controllers require confirmation, in a before action when the controllers require confirmation. I'm gonna make this font a bit bigger, bear with me. Or you can pull this into your authorization logic, e.g. with Pundit, so needs confirmation. Let's use it. Right, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, amazing. So they've put that within protected. Let's go and see what's going on over here. If you want to add a grace period where unconfirmed users may still log in, use the allow unconfirmed access for blah, blah, blah. Alternatively, you may want to skip required confirmation altogether. Okay. Let's try this. Yeah. This is also where I Google for my memory of protected keyword. Ruby protected method. You know, this is a good, it's a good article because it's got a picture of a cat at the front. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is will make it private methods can only respond to a message with an implicit receiver. Okay. In Ruby, a protected method or protected message handler can only respond to a message with an implicit/explicit receiver object of the same family. It also cannot respond to a message sent from outside of the protected message handler context. Go through there. You just can't go result. The same policy. Explicit call the protected method for the receiver self. The protected message handler. Response message contains a receiver of the same family. Okay. The family word is throwing me off there. Okay, I get the gist. I'm not going to go any deeper on that. I feel like, as with everything in Ruby, I could dedicate the rest of my entire life to discovering how that works and everything about it, and it would be very valuable and fun, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so let's see if I can sign in now. Do I need to restart the server potentially for that? I wonder if Devise needs that when it kicks off its initializer, but let's give it a try anyway. So maybe here we can potentially now sign in as that user whose email I've now forgotten. Oh, and I don't have my clipboard history on this user yet. We've got to turn that on. Amazing. Great. Okay, but now we can't. Okay, so now we're not going to check that the user is confirmed, but we always can if we need to. Okay, amazing. So this can be moved. Yeah, this can be moved so that people can sign in and people can register for accounts. Great. Just gonna put that as done, whatever. Oh god, I made so much progress today. User can update their details. Okay, let's build a little like a little user page. This is a pretty good thing to do. This is carry me through because I'm not. I should be lying in bed feeling sorry for myself other than doing this. So that kind of gives us a nice. Oh, let's do some git stuff while we're here. We've probably made about 10,000 edits. So much. Okay, right. Come on. Let's be diligent about this, because even if we're not going to go back and do the rebasing, we want to make it easier for when we do close these. Right. What did we do? We want to turn these into a narrative, right? So this would have worked. So that exists. That got taken away. So that and that. These can all potentially go in one. And the application controller change we need to go in there as well. Yeah, okay. So that can now be one commit. Let's do it in the editor. Close this stuff down. Okay, so what did we do here? What did we do? We a default layout with site navbar. In a previous commit, in previous works, I don't know if it was in a commit. In previous work, we added an admin navbar along with a, yeah, like I guess a site-wide, site navbar, navbar. In the long term, we may want to have a smarter navbar component that knows what needs to be rendered. But in the meantime, we have two components that need to be rendered mutually exclusively. Is that like the worst way to describe that? Exclusively. Yeah, this is more complicated to describe it than I want to be. So in previous work, we had an admin nav bar along with a site nav bar. These should not be rendered at the same time. The user should see one or other, depending on whether or not they are viewing the admin area. In the long term, we may want to have a smarter navbar component that knows what needs to be rendered. This we have for now. To achieve this, we added a default layout that assigns or that renders the site navbar while the admin area already had its own layout. This means that the application layout doesn't contain a navbar by default. I'll do. Get the gist of what I was trying to do, I think. All right, that's one commit. Let's introduce this, I guess, because this is independent of the others. So let's introduce this first. Introduce avatar icon component. Until now, we have had these icons rendered within the admin navbar component. In upcoming work, we are going to want to add user avatars to other navbars. So introducing a view component to standardize these seems like a good idea. This is just a first pass at a simple. Is it like, I guess it is an API, like the list of arguments, you can just grab that as the API for it, right? This component. There's lots of scope for, let's put improvement, i.e. Avatar images, etc. I don't really care what it matters. Just trying to say that I'm not trying to say that we've nailed it the first time. So that's more committed. So like breaking these down just means when we rebase these, like some of these commits can basically just go in as is. Whereas like whenever I've put like WIP colon in front of something, it usually means that I need to look at it again when doing the rebase. So that is just a CSS change that's unrelated to the extraction. That's that one. Okay, so these two and these two are unrelated in terms of the commits. So this one is this one is replace user and org avatars with component. No, I can put in what they are with like avatar icon component. All right, so in a previous commit introduced this thing. This means we can now swap out the HTML from the account navbar to use the new components. That's it, really. Everything's pretty self-explanatory in that commit, I think. So the next one is this is pretty basic. This one I feel like probably could be rebased down because we're probably going to want to do more in this, but let's just commit this for now. So this is update add and update formatting like navbar. There's not a lot else to say here, really. Also introducing sign in and sign up links to the navbar for the first time. I don't even know if that's useful, but whatever. And so here, when I rebase this, I would actually pull this commit here all the way to the front. Like we have a massive branch, but this doesn't affect anything. Do we need a test for this? I guess our end-to-end test would sort of immediately solve this, so we can put an end-to-end test which like user can sign up. We should do that now that we've actually fixed sign up to work. We should put well, let's do that. So how long have we been going? 1 hour, 20 minutes. But like, I'm really worried about ending this stream because I'm really not well. So if I go and finish this stream, I think I'm just going to lie down and feel really shit. So I think we might just keep going a little bit longer than normal. The stream might be saving my Sunday. Kind of struggling to regulate my temperature a little bit. Just battle through. Okay, so what does this do? This do not require users to be confirmed to access. Do not require users to be confirmed by default. The site. With the confirmable. What's it like? Module? What do we call device confirmable? Just says confirmable. Oh, module. With the confirmable module enabled, device will require the user to be confirmed before they can sign in. This it's that even straight after signing up, they are immediately blocked from going any further. Devise provides a couple of mechanisms to provide a nicer experience here, including a grace period and a per action ability to check whether the user is confirmed. As we don't know yet what we are going to require the user to be confirmed for, we want to turn this check off, but leave the confirmable module enabled so we can check this status as needed. This commit adds a to the user. To enable this comes from the docs here, and we can add a link. Where did we get it from? Here. Cool. I think we are committed up to date. So those ones are ones where I always find you want to write that longer commit message because you just want to know why something was done that changes such a fundamental behavior. Like if you're just moving some CSS around, you're like, man, fine, who cares? All right, so we can now sign up, sign in. And what we were talking about is adding a user area because in Notion we had user can update details. So could we potentially reuse this idea and have like a little drop down that had like change my password or do other stuff, or maybe we don't need to bother with that, and maybe just clicking on this thing takes you to your /user/ whatever, like account or profile or something. And in this one here, because you're in the admin area, you get this event switcher, but also you get looking to change your account, click on this link to go there, and it still takes you to the same admin area. What's the pros and cons of any of that? I don't think I have any particularly. yeah, I don't think I really have any. Because what would you see in here? So the drop down would be like my events, my preferences. That's like your avatar, name, anything that's saved. You might have like what do you saved payment methods, just all the usual user stuff. The events you've been to, the events you're going to, password resets, just all that fun stuff. Yeah, maybe just make that a link for now. Although I was kind of interested to see how extractable that is. Maybe that's just a selfish reason to try and do that. So what is that at the moment? Admin account, navbar item org, pick a container. Maybe this just becomes because what we did fix is the idea that as you go down to mobile, this sort of extracts across like that. And so maybe that could just become like the standard drop-downy list thing for nav bars. Again, I don't know at this stage because we haven't designed any of the rest of the UI. Should be pretty... like it's just that's doing it, right? So it's just the styling of these things, because then you could make this a component, and what would you pass in? You would pass in a collection of, I mean, they could just be hashes. They'd just be like link wording, and then the path it was going to, because it's always just going to be a list. I don't know, actually, because you're going to end up with like, depends how complex that would be. Like, does it have subnav, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. Okay, let's. I don't think that's really worth doing, because I think it's really straightforward, because there's just not a lot here to be complicated. So what do I mean by that? Like, this is a show and so this is a stimulus show and hide. That's nothing to do with it being a menu or submenu or whatever. So that's really straightforward. The only real trick to it is that it's position absolute underneath this thing, and that's fine. And then the only thing that the view component would give you would be you could pass it a collection of things. So at the moment it would just be this text here and this path, I guess, and then they would always look the same. But what we could do is just make this a link for now to a user account page. And not kind of have to build it, and you could just put the sub navigation on there. So let's do that. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll come back to the homepage. What is this? User can update details. Okay, let's do user can update details. So the user can update details. What do we want to do? Let's do a little bit of planning out what we want to mean by that. User can change their password. So device kind of has some of that stuff for us. We want user can update their email address. I think we can sort of skip. We've got another one for like user can see their existing tickets, because at the moment we're not forcing people when they do an event registration to do this. This is only really going to be for like admins, but this is like table stake stuff that people need to be able to do. So if they've entered a password, they really need to be able to change it. And if they've entered an email address, they need to be able to change it as well. So user can update their email address. We haven't put first name and last name in. I don't think we've put like an avatar in, so we can leave any of that stuff. So I think we can just leave these as the basics for now. So we only asked them for 2 things, and we think they should be able to change those 2 things. That seems reasonable. Does device give you... Yeah, I'm sort of just checking to see what, because you could sort of say to someone, hey, I want to change my password. And you could just make them go through the devise new password thing. So as you go to, like if you sign this user out and then go to sign in, like there's already a forgot your password thing. So you could just say, hey, use that. And that should, like that should just exist because devise handles it all. Which is kind of not ideal, I guess, because you've made the user have to think about it, whereas really all they wanted to do was change their password while they were signed in. Don't know how table stakes that is though, because you could just put a support article. It's like, hey, just do it that way. Changing that email address though, you definitely need to have handled that in case people they might have used their work email address or something and not have access to it. So devise change email address. Do they have a built-in one for that? Devise does have this out of the box. Okay, cool. Yeah, reconfirmable. Okay, I remember that, so we've turned that on. Okay, that seems like a cool one to chase down. Changing the email field directly with the reconfirmable enabled. Okay, that's stuff there. Okay, these were really old, so I'm guessing this is totally a solved problem, so we can just build this. Okay, let's build somewhere for the user to go. And what we'll do is we'll try and end up with a feature or a system spec where we can run a user account through, so you can sign up, go in, change your email address, confirm that new email address, sign back in, sign out, I guess, all those fun things. I'm just trying to, trying to not have to go and think about how sick. Okay, so let's kind of do that. Let's do an aspirational system test, shall we? So let's do like yeah, let's just call it user then. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but like I don't like naming these things. Okay. So we want to say I think these are great names. So we can sort of say we want to do visit the sign in page. No, sign up page. We want to complete it's the registration page, isn't it? Let's Let's just call it sign up form. Oh, so this should be like what's the wording for these? Like when I hang on, let me just taking a look at my other screen. I just want to check the wording of these is given, when, then, and. Okay, right. Then I should. I don't know where you. I don't know what you should see when you sign up. Then I should see my account page. Okay, and then then we can have. What are these scenarios? I think scenario is like a synonym for it, right? Do you have that in a system test, or is that only in feature tests? Can I have this? It's an unregistered visitor. Creating a new account. When I visit the sign up page, and I complete the sign up form, then I should see my account page. And then like let's do then context as a registered visitor, changing my email address. So this could be like as a user. When I sign in, and I visit the change email page. I have no idea what this is going to be like. I'm just trying to work out what we're trying to do. And I visit the that could kind of be one. And I visit the change email page. Given, when, then. So given I am a user, we can come back to that. And I enter my new, and I enter my new email address. Then I should receive a reconfirmation email. When I visit the reconfirmation page, then my email address should be updated and I should be I don't know, see a confirmation message, I guess. Is that the behavior that we want to happen for this? So all of this is sort of fictional at the moment. We haven't got any of this stuff. So we don't have an account page. We don't have change email form. We don't have any of this stuff. So this is all just like roughly what we think should happen. Just looking on the other screen. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, yeah, I'm just still looking on the other screen. To see, oops. Just to see if there's anything. I'm looking at GitHub. All right, let's do this first one first then. So when I visit the step sign up page, you just do visit, and then it's called like we did this earlier. We did this earlier. It's like new user registration path. Oh, it's already selected. There we go. So this should take us somewhere. Okay, so this should now do this, and I complete the sign up form. Okay. So on that page, we are expecting there to be fill in, and what's on there? Sign up. Email, and that is user email. Fill in user email with just need like a random test user 123 at example.com, and then I'm guessing it's password and password. Okay, so email password. Yep, and then email password underscore confirmation. User password confirmation. Yeah, so and this one can just be this for now. We can change those device constraints to make that like more needed, but we're just doing the default thing. So that's those first two should work. Then I should see my account page. Okay, so this will fail because we haven't got this. So let's add this. And I actually don't know what would happen now. So where do you get taken at the moment? So the moment you're getting to the home page. So let's just say and change this for now. Then I should see the home page. So we'll just get this test passing so we know that this works. Then I should see the home page, and this can all get commented out. Then I should see the home page, and this should be like expect page dot to have content. I think it just says homepage, bang. Cool. Okay, so does this pass? Copy relative path. It does not pass. Sign in, sign up password, character, didn't receive permission instructions. Okay, let's take a look at why that's not passing. Oh, because I didn't click sign up. Unable to find button sign up that is not disabled. What does it say? Sign up, not a capital U. Okay, so that one passes. Great. So we now know that learners can that users can sign up. Great. Okay. So now we want to change my email address. Can we just commit what we have so far with a passing test? So if we go here, let's just take this out temporarily. Put there for a second. And then we can just commit this. Add feature test for account sign up. And a recent. No, because we want to be able to move these around, don't we? Because we want to move that user change the devise right back to the start. We're going to rebase that back to the start of our current branch. Not a lot to say about this, about why we're doing it. We just no, it's a system test, isn't it? So add system test for account sign up. I don't think there's a lot to say here. There's not a lot of context we need to add. Doesn't do much. Just gonna add it. The one line is fine for that, and then we can put back this commented out code. So this can go, because this is now what we want to make pass. So we want to have some sort of account page, and we're going to plonk that at, it's going to be outside of admin. That can just be /users/ID/account, I think is fair enough. And we can have maybe a separate one for changing passwords. So let's go. Let's leave this in because this is where we want to get to. And this can maybe become like when I visit the change email page or something like that. So let's start there. So let's go with where is this going to live? And are we having one for change password and one for change email? I actually don't think that's such a bad idea. I think that sometimes it can get a bit confusing in a user account page when you have like 3 or 4 things you can do, because some of them, like you end up clicking save or whatever, like you might want to change your passwords. That's actually one form on a page that might actually, like if you have like first name, last name, and then change password might have its own form submission. But you might also want to change your password and your first name or something like that. So let's separate these out for now. I don't have an issue with that. So let's create a user's namespace and have like what we're doing here, change email address, controller. Yeah, let's try that. So users email address controller. All right, let's find out. Let's go and figure out what we're trying to do. I think this could just be, that would be the plural, but like you only got one, so I think it could just be like that. And potentially you could have, it could be change email address controller or something like that, but you are, yeah, it kind of goes for the naming being either the resource that's being updated or the action that the thing is performing. So, oh shit, I'm doing a spec. Hang on then. Sorry, I've done that the wrong way around. I'm doing the spec first. So let's grab out one of these. And then I did these the other day, and then I realized you could just use helpers in these. So I don't know why I've been hard coding these. So let's do describe users email address controller. And it would be edit, right? You'd only ever have the edit and update actions for this. And so this would then be, we don't have a thing, so it would be get user email address path. Don't know, I'll have to figure that out in a second. But what do we actually want to happen here? We still haven't got those helpers for like, hey, you signed in, should you be able to do this? That's really something. Okay, so let's add that to Notion because it actually feels like a really good add request spec helpers for signed in user I think we want this for like system tests as well. Because what you could do here essentially is have like as a signed in user like that, and this would take care of doing all your setup. But we just haven't got around to doing that, and I'm not really in the mood for that right now. So here we could do context as a signed in user. And I think we must have to do that in somewhere else? No, I guess we don't. I guess this is the first place we really care about that because, oh, in here probably. Yeah, so as an admin, like that could also be the same thing. So sign in user. Where's it getting user from? Oh, there. Okay, great. So this can come through. Make that there. And then like before. Do that or something like that. Should return a success response. So we want all of this, but with that as the edit action. Is that right? So with the sign in user, should return a success response for. So this is just testing that the controller action works, and then it's going to be our system test that checks that it like shows us the right thing, and we can fill in the form and that kind of stuff. Cool. Okay, so this is all going to fail. So we're not going to bother running to see the failure because we know that's going to fail because we don't actually have roots or anything else. So let's drop in here and see how much we should have done to think this through where it's going. So in here, email address controller. And we've got an edit view. And actually, let's assume that we're in the right. Let's assume we're in the right place. And just build the view out as well for now, just so we don't deal with that failure. So this could just be edit email address page. That's all we need to see. And then, so now that we've got a controller, we can start to wire that up, right? Like, where should this live? So, anything like that? Something like that? Right at the bottom. So I think we want none of these. I just pass in only and then an empty array. Yeah, so edit user email address path. So users, user ID, email address / edit. Yeah, and we wouldn't even need the / edit. You could have this as change email address and wire up that way, but this feels fine. I actually really like the hyphens as paths. I know you can change that somehow somewhere, but I'll just set that specifically for now and then we can come back to that. You can change how Rails does that by default. I'll just edit. Okay. So I think that's fine. So let's just make this thing link to there for now. So in the views, in our components, site nav, navbar component, this can actually be like a link to and it can pass to edit user email address path. No, I can't. Oh, I need to pass the user ID. Okay, so at user. Great. Unnecessary constant email address controller. Oh, because it needs to be namespaced, right? So in here, this can be module users. Users email addresses controller. As it defaulted to the plural. Yeah, users email addresses. How do you get it to, do you have to just specify that? Or can you put Rails use singular controller name? They just specify the controller. Okay. That's fine. Like, this sort of just makes more sense to me. I guess you could do that however you wanted. Edit email address page. Okay, cool. So you click on the little user avatar thing, and then you come to the email address page. Okay, fine. So that all kind of works. Does our test pass now, potentially? I've already forgotten where it is. So let's close everything down. This one here. Copy relative path. Oh, did I have two? No. Just syntax error. So I've got. There's an error in here somewhere. Requests users. Just controller spec. Line 17. Expect another. Oh, it's literally just I'm missing the last end. Oh, whoops. How did I get the? I missed the edit out of the path name. This one. Do I need to pass it the user, I guess? Yeah. That doesn't need to be confirmed anymore. That can get taken out of all the others, actually. That can be like a little rebase job. Okay, great. So this now works. So as a sign-in user, I should return a success response. It totally does that thing. So let's do the update action. Oops. And what I'm not quite sure about here, so let's go back and Google this. So devise update email reconfirmation. Let's see if there's anything in there docs that help us. Is I should actually just go and read devise reconfirmable because it probably has everything in the actual docs. I don't need to Google around. Confirmable. Requires any email changes to be confirmed exactly the same way as initial account confirmation to be applied. Requires additional unconfirmed email DB field to be set up. I think that's done because we did it when we set up. Until confirmed, new email is stored in unconfirmed email column and copied to email column on successful confirmation. Also, when used in conjunction with send email change notification, the notification is sent to the original email when the change is requested, not when the unconfirmed email is confirmed. Okay, so potentially can we just like is devise kind of looking at that field and is there like already a devise view for this? Didn't devise add a bunch of stuff to our views? Devise confirmation, registration, channel confirmation, new. Resend confirmation instructions. Wait, reconfirmable is definitely turned on, right? It is not. Okay, so I have missed that one out. But recoverable, rememberable, validatable, trackable, confirmable. And so what would happen at the moment if I just changed the email address? Confirmed. Okay, so I actually do need to do the work to enable this. Sorry, I totally assumed that I had done that. Enable reconfirmable. How to add confirmable to users. Whoa. Okay. What was that other website? Is that like a random scam to scrape GitHub pages? It's weird. How to demonstrate how to add modifying the user model, add device confirmable to user model, create a migration. Okay, I'm just going to follow all of this. What needs committing at the moment? Oh, okay. Well, we can commit all of this separately. Okay, so let's do this first. That's a feature test that we haven't got to yet, so that can stay. Yeah, so that can go in a separate commit. So everything else inside this, and this represent the change. So here we can say we are going to introduce users user email address, controller, and view. Upcoming work. We would like the user to be able to change their email address. This commit introduces the root controller and a initially blank. Oops, keep doing that. And initially view that we can build upon. So initially, if like, I'm not too fussed about this one, but like you wouldn't introduce the root if you were going to introduce this commit and have it potentially go to production. Like if you're building it incrementally and just using CI to like push it, you wouldn't want to necessarily expose that root just in case like somehow it got found, I guess. I mean, it's only got like a sentence on it, so it doesn't matter, but that would be another way to, well, I guess you could just put some sort of author over it or something, but like I'm committing this as if that's fine, but it probably isn't because you don't want users to actually find it or see it. But I just want to get rid of that stuff from this commit history while I'm about to put a bunch of device stuff in. So here we can do git commit, make user the top icon a link to the update email page. We are working on making a area. As a first step, we have produced an email page. This commit allows a quick way for us to link to the page from user icon in the navbar. Cool. Okay, so let's go back to our devise stuff. So add devise confirmable. So we've done that. Oh, okay. So wait, maybe we have done this already. Oh, hang on. Maybe this is a fake out. Maybe I just need to do, let's go check our schema. Okay, I hadn't read further down those docs, but maybe if you just need confirmable and then to turn reconfirmable on or off. So let's go check our schema. So in users, do we have unconfirmed email? That's what we're looking for. Great. So we can just turn reconfirmable. If we're not using reconfirmable, however, in config initializes devise. So config initializes devise. We should have something like reconfirmable. And it says true. Okay, so this is all enabled. Great. So that was a red herring. I didn't have to go and do anything. Sorry. I only read the first part, which was like, I thought that in here, I would need to see this and one called reconfirmable, which isn't the case by the looks of things. Which is great, which means that this should just work. So that then takes me back to my question, which is like, how does this work? Like by magic? If you're not using reconfirmable, before you can actually send the confirmation email, you need a devise mailer or a custom mailer configured. Okay, so we need a mailer, that's fine. If you want to redirect the user to a specific URL after they click the link in the confirmation email, override the after confirmation path in your confirmations controller. That seems fine to allow unconfirmed access because we've done all this stuff. So this is all about confirming the new email address. Yeah, I suppose this is interesting because we didn't confirm, like we're not blocking them if they don't confirm the first email address. So it's, I guess what we're doing is basically doing the same thing, which is that offering them the chance to confirm the second one. But in this case, the email won't actually change unless they confirm. Okay, so this all seems fine. This is like, well, if you put a typo in your first email address, this is like non-punitive changes. Okay, so will this try and fire an email if we just have a form that updates the user? Like, I'm not sure if there's anything else we need to do. like, what do I mean by that? Like what? Come on, Max, spit it out. Like, am I trying to say in here, user's email address, edit? So there's going to be a form in here, right? So this is like form, blah, blah, blah. But in here, is this f dot, oh, I can't remember if we're using simple form, f dot input. What did we just say that was in the schema? Unconfirmed email address? Like, is it that? Or is it, that? And then presumably there's like an f dot. Something like that. This is actually probably just a form for. Something like that. Does that actually work? No. First argument in form. Okay, so you have to actually have the user set. I'm just gonna try and build this out and see what actually happens. Let's just change the email address first and see if device catches that and switches it to the unconfirmed one. Rather than going and reading any docs, let's do things the least diligent way. That seems to make sense. So so in here we could do I guess it's user. Yeah, it's definitely user ID. And again, we haven't added anything in yet, but obviously we would have a check to see that you are signed in and that you are the user that is accessing this page. Again, we're not doing anything in a sensible order because it's a stream, but that's fine. We'll figure all that out later. So just a quick thought here. I'm not using current underscore user because I think that would have been easier. I think you could just do this. Or you could, in fact, just use current user in the view. One of the things I've been stung on that before is like when you're building like impersonate as behaviors or like different levels of access might allow you to like see what a user can see in different views and things. Relying on current user rather than the user in the path kind of like creates a different dynamic there, because you could sort of override current user and pass in like an admin user or something like that. Like, but I have found just not using current user to be more helpful. So current user when you're actually saying like, who am I signed in as? But other than that, just use the user in the path to indicate what's supposed to be happening on the page. Undefined method input. Okay, right. So what is the, oh, it's simple form 4, isn't it? Yeah, because I think that's the, sorry, again, I'm just doing this. So I think we agreed to use simple form 4, which then gives you f.input, I think. Undefined method email address. Is it just email? Okay, so that is that. Okay, so let's take out this one and see what happens here. So this we've got currently test123 at example.com. Let's do ABC at this point. Oh, and where did this go? Patch users 1 email address edit. And it's because we haven't actually added in the update action. Okay, so that's update. And then in the controller, we want to have an update action. And here's what I'm not, so this is what I'm not sure about. Like, so the user is already set and we can say user dot, like, let's just put a bang in there and just see what happens. Let's just set a flash and say great. Like, I'm just sort of checking to see if this works. You need to confirm your new we've sent an email to your new address. You need to click the link in that email to update your account. I'll do for now. Thank you. Then redirect to whatever the original thing is. And then this should somehow show this has been successful. So here we then going to do update. I think you can just do attributes right now, right? And then you can do user params. I should really have Googled any of this. Def user params. Permit. So this is what I'm not sure. Like email, I guess? I don't know. So I don't know what's about to happen here. So let's try that again. We go here, we do this, we put ABC on the end of this. Hit that. Users want email address. Edit. Oh, it's because it's not edit, is it? So even the patch, I do actually need to put in the correct path there. It's user's email address path. I'm just going to specify that in view. I'm assuming it knows to get the right user ID. Where's the form action? Yep, users want email address. Okay, cool. So let's put ABC at the end here. Update that. Wait, the nil? We didn't have the user set? Oh, user attributes. Wrong number of arguments given one expected 0. Is it not that? I just guessed at that. I just guessed at that API. Assign attributes in controller. That's 4. Attributes equals, yeah, I thought you could just do attributes. Alias for assign attributes. Is that not a thing? Wrong number of arguments given, 1. Expected 0. Those are the attributes. And then can I set... Is it because it's in the wrong shape? So can I set like... Like, does that work? No. From email when an update. Number of arguments given. Update. That's really interesting. I'm not sure I'm... What? Okay, so that totally works. So wait. Am I misreading that then? So assign attribute... Oh, wait, hang on a second. So assign attributes receives that of the method. And attributes equals new attributes. That's a setter, right? Alias for assign attributes. Oh, in 7? When did that kick in? Rails dot attributes. Oh, these are all just the latest docs, which is good. That's not like Rails 5, look. Am I setting that wrong? Returns a hash of all attributes, but can you not use it as a setter as well? Anyway, it doesn't matter because assigned attribute works. Rails set attributes in 2020. Here we go. Assign attributes. Wait, but I'm not understanding that syntax. So is it, when it says equals, does it genuinely mean like that? Oh. Interesting. So there's that then got X, Y, Z. Yeah, okay. So this, just to clarify, this worked the first time when I switched it to assign attribute. So this is the email that's going out from Devise. So we are setting the email attribute. Devise is catching that and saying, oh, no, you can't do that. I'm going to move this field to the, I can't remember what it's called, like waiting to be confirmed email field or whatever it is, setting a token that they'll need to change, and then like handling everything else basically. And then like sending an email. So if we go to that user, that value should not have changed, right? Like in console. Where's been... We can just go to like user.last, I think it is. Nope. Yeah, so this is still 1, 2, 3. So can we see the whole thing? Oh, how would we see those hidden fields? Like, I don't think these show by default from Devise. See Devise fields and... Is there a way to just quickly see them? This looks like... Cool. Okay, so in here we should then have... Great. So this has updated the unconfirmed email address. That's the XYZ one. So we changed it to ABC the first time. And it set this confirmation token and then sent this email. So device has handled all of that. So all the way through now, we're just doing like, hey, we want to update the email address, and device is catching the rest, which is great. That's exactly what we want. And I think, did we get the alert as well? No, because I haven't put any alerts on the page, but that flash should have been set. And if we rendered any flashes out, we should have seen it. So I think we might be able to do some of this now, but I don't know if we'll have this one because we haven't got that mailer set. So as a user, let's do this, and then we'll come back and put. Let's just get this working, and then we can wrap up. This is gonna be the last thing we do. So, let's kind of borrow what we did over here. So we get a user, and then that user signs in. So this is visit, and we're going to go all the way around the houses here because we haven't got. We could put a helper in. I think you can still do sort of sign in and things like that, but we're actually going to go all the way around and kind of sign them in. New user session path, and we're going to fill in. Let's kind of go around with them. So we're going to sign in, and this is going to be user email. And then we're going to fill in user password, and we can just set the password here just to make our lives easier. We can click the button that says log in. Oops, sorry, it's not the mic. So when I sign in and I visit the change email page, this then takes you down to here. Remember, we haven't actually got anything checking that you are the user we think you should be, so we're just skipping all of that for now. That's fine, but you're signed in and you're visiting that page. And I enter a new email address. So here we can do fill in, and then this is this page, which is this field here, which is user email again. User email with, and this can be my new email at example.com. So you're going to click the button called update email address. Right, so this one I think is going to be tricky. Let's sort of come back to that one, but let's say like I don't know if we got the mailer set, so let's just check. So so Rails system test check email. Yeah, so okay, so this is checking action mailer based deliveries. Fine. There's like there's a wrapper around this. There's a gem that wraps this, which is super helpful. That I've used in the past. Yeah, really, it's like mail spec or something. And let's see if it's this one, perhaps. No, it was more. It was. I can't remember what it did, but it was like a wrapper around it. Let's do the default one here. Let's see if this does anything. So we know that the mail should have gone to my original email, so we can actually just be more specific about that here as well. So this can be original email at example.com. And we can wrap this up a bit just so that we can see what's supposed to be happening here. So original email at example.com. But we haven't set a mailer specifically, so I don't know if this will work. So let's see if this works. Can we put a bug in here? Then try and run this spec. I think we're still in the console here. Built-in user out, because that should be a string. And that one should be a string as well. Did you mean this URL? So visit edit user email address path. Oh, because I didn't specify the user. Is that the problem? Oh, great. Okay. Yep. So let's take a look at what is in here. Ah, yeah, it did send. Amazing. So if we run this. That didn't work. That's fine. Oops, shit. Undefined method include. I don't know what's going on there. Just a typo in that little bit I've copied and pasted. Yep. Cool. So for each of these, go through and find the one with that email address, and it should exist. And then we presumably there's some path that Devise gives us for confirming them back again, like a confirmation path. User confirmation path, user confirmations create. And does that need to then take that token? So here we could be like expect mail. This is rough. I think I want to find that gem because it was really good. Like you could really be more specific. It's like to be nil, I guess. I actually don't know what find returns. So if it returns that block, it'll be really awkward. But that's fine. I'm not going to commit this because I think we're done a mega stream just because I don't feel very well and it's making me, giving me something to concentrate on. So when I visit the reconfirmation page, so we're sort of assuming they've clicked that link. And what I think we're saying is that is this device confirmation show, which is user confirmation path. And do we get any indication of what that needs? It's going to create a confirmation, but it must need that token, right? So we had that earlier in here somewhere. Confirmation token. But I don't know what it passes it through as, and we don't have like a confirmations controller, right? Confirmations controller spec. Oh, but that's for our own ones. That's not a device thing. Confirmation instructions. So we can just go and look at the device controllers in device. And confirmations. Confirmations controller. And in here, resource params, confirmation token. Okay. Will it let us access that from the user? We can just try that, I guess. So user.first dot confirmation token. I don't think it will. Yes, it will. Okay, great. So we can do, at this point, this should have been set. So we should be able to do user.confirmation token. Like we could test that here as well. I know that we'd be reaching out of the system test, but you would really want to know that had been set. Then my email address should be updated. So this is another example. So here, I would then say expect user.email to equal, and this should be my new email one. Because by visiting this path, that should have told device that we can update it, and then we should see a confirmation message. I'm actually not sure what we should see there. I don't know where it's going to go, but let's see what device does. What happened there? End, and this can be like expect page to have content. I don't know what it's going to say. Let's just let it fail and see what the page does. Let's put in here, actually, let's put page.body and see what it's spitting out. Right, let's run any of that because I just went a long way around without checking any of my work along the way. Let's see where we stopped. Expect mail to not be nil and got nil. Okay, great. So does that not work? So we didn't actually mail deliveries, find mail to mail, original email. Let's bug that again, because I didn't really dive into what's happening there. I just sort of copied and pasted some code and didn't really worry about it. So let's make this, well, this part here. A one-liner and just see what we're actually getting returned from that. So we are getting nil back, but within deliveries, there is an email, right? Where is the 2? Oh, right. I've got it the wrong way around. It's going to my new email. I've got that test to look for it going to the old one, of course. I've just got it the wrong way around. So this should go to that one. So if we make this a one-liner, I think it will work pasting it in as a multi-line, but I think it broke last time. Great. So now we get a mail message, so it just shouldn't be nil. Okay, cool. That fails. Take the bug out. Okay, so it hasn't changed the... That's a typo. So I think this is the part that I'm least confident in. So I think basically this isn't doing what I think it should be doing. Let's just see what it thinks is happening there. Oh, I think we probably could have just clicked on that. Oh, loads of stuff. Okay. Recent confirmation instructions. Confirmation token can't be blank. Oh, okay, great. So user.confirmation token. I thought we checked that we could access that. Confirmation token. User.confirmation token. Let's see what that is at that stage. We're just working through this step by step. We wrote our test out. We did, rather than doing it diligently, like failure by failure, we just wrote the whole thing out. So let's see what's going on. Okay, so we're not getting that at all. But I thought we tested earlier that we could get user confirmation token directly. That's weird. Is it confirmation token? Well, otherwise it would... yeah, confirmation token. Okay. So that's not exposed there. Why were we getting it before then? Because presumably otherwise we want to... I mean, we could grab it from that email, I guess, but do we really want to do that? Can we just look like devise user get confirmation token? That's... yeah, they're just getting it directly. Why can I not get it? I'm just skimming around, really. So my user... oh, what was the thing we added a little while ago to... was it in the other window? Yeah, like we Googled something that was like... yeah, we did this. Oh, is it then that we were able to get it? No, okay, still can't get it. So is it set on the user? No. Okay, so we are getting it. It's not set. Why not? Okay, interesting. Great. Okay, so our test is properly failing because our test is failing. That's good. So when we're filling this in, what's happening? Something that's not right. don't really care about any of this right now. So I just want to get to that last step and see what's being rendered out. Okay, this is good. Like we're going about this a really slow way, but we're just taking our test failures one by one. So this worked as far as we can tell. And I complete the new email address form. And that controller just like explodes, right? If there's anything wrong in there. Okay. So let's just chuck in something here to indicate that we've been through that code. Really high-tech debugging here, just literally spitting out some hashes so I can see them in the console. Yep, so been through there. That means it's saved successfully. So at this point... Oh, do I have to reload the user? Right, okay, that might be it. So at this point here... is set. Right. Okay, so... Okay, let's come out of that. That's great. Thank you. That works. So we can come out of here. So here it's because we have updated an attribute on user, but the user hasn't been reloaded. That's fine. We can just add that here, I think. May or may not be a good idea. Oh no, I need to uncomment all of these. Cool. So now we should get a failure, but hopefully one further along. Oh, okay. Still failing, although it doesn't let me get taken to the home page after we've updated that, so that's helpful. Then I receive a confirmation email. Oh no, it's here. So that's just going to the home page. Is that because it's been... Let's see what happens here. I've got to go in a minute. This has been a long stream and I'm not feeling great, but I do want to get to the end of this test passing. I genuinely, like, we've come this far. So that's what is actually... Okay, so user confirmation test is set there. So visit user confirmation path, confirmation token, user.reload.confirmation token. Great, so that's still set. So you visit user blah, blah, blah. So page.body is that. And then we've got user. Oh, wait. So we've got user.email is my new email. So do you have to do the reload again? Okay, fine. So I think it's the same issue. I think user.reload.email. Because you've still got that same instance that hasn't been reloaded. You're changing it under the hood. So let's see what happens here. Okay, excellent. So here we can then put, and I should see, for no apparent reason, the home page. So the test will pass, but the user behavior is bonkers. At the end of it all, you just go to the home page. You should see a confirmation message, but we haven't coded that bit up yet, so we'll just put this in. And this can be home page. Bang. All right, I'm just going to run this, check it passes, and then run through what we've actually done, and then sign off, because that's a long, long, long one. I really appreciate anyone who's watched any of this, because I haven't been feeling very good, and this has really helped me not feel too sick. To find out a home page, and this has got those annoying line breaks in. Let's do like Rails system test line breaks in have content. Okay, I was kind of hoping for a solution to that, really. So what I actually want to test here is like, I guess it's capybara, new line breaks, have content. Oh, have text. Nope. So it's still this. I've definitely done this before at some point. Have name. All this. So I think there's some sort of config you can add in. A different API. Ability to set behavior should be implemented in this. Oh man, okay, I'm gonna have to go digging through that. I don't really. Can we just do this? Because this test is bonkers anyway, because I don't really want it to go to the homepage, so I don't really care. So we just treat it as a string. Nope. Okay, fine. Why doesn't it include homepage? Is it case wrong? Homepage. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Wait, is that why it was failing before? Next home page. Is that now for work? Oh wait, did I just go around googling for 10 minutes for a capital P? I did. Okay, fuck. Oh, I'm not very well. All right, amazing. We have passing tests. We have so much going on. We covered a lot of ground today. All right, so we've got the ability to change email addresses. So we introduce this new navbar for users as opposed to admins. So if you're in /admin, you'll switch to this admin navbar, which is cool. And you get your little avatar for your organization and for your user, and this little toggle thing still works. But we also wanted to use it on the generic, hey, you're just a normal user, you're not an admin. So we extracted the little circle out as a component that is the avatar icon component that got extracted out. And that worked pretty well. We then introduced the idea of having a user account area. And the first thing we wanted to do was edit the email address. So now if you click on your normal user avatar, you go to the email address page. You can then update your email address with like QWERTY, press that, and it won't update, but you will get an email behind the scenes saying, hey, please click on this link to confirm your new email address. And when we actually bother to show flashes on the page, you'll see a message that says that. And we then also have a system test that checks all of that behavior. So when you do X, Y, and Z, so it lets you sign in and it lets you go through the email confirmation process. We had to add in .reload a bunch because we had a user as an instance that already been loaded, but we had changed an attribute on it. So we needed to reload it to check that attribute. So we debug and found that. And we also introduced the idea of when you're signed out, having sign up and sign in links up here. And we also changed the confirmable behavior in devise so that you now can sign in even if you haven't confirmed your account. And then that allows us to specify any behaviors where we need people to be signed in. That was a long one. I really appreciate it because I don't feel very well. And rather than lying in bed feeling sorry for myself, I have been able to remind myself how a bunch of device stuff works, which is pretty good. Extract yet more view component stuff out, which I found really useful. Yeah, thank you very much. And also a big shout out because I don't really know how because I haven't really promoted it, but this channel has just passed 500 subscribers. So that's pretty wild to me. So I really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who drops in the chat and says hello. I do have the feedback from earlier. It would be nice that you put in what you're building in the description of the video so people can have an idea of what is going on. I 100% agree. This stream must be bonkers to people who just drop into it and be like, what is this guy going on about? But I will try and write something up with some context for what's going on. And we're now at the stage where like really do need to just put a UI design around this because we could sort of use this to run an event for, I had said maybe we would want to do like a group pairing session. Like if people were interested in working on some Rails together, we could like arrange that and use this as the sign up app. I thought that would be kind of cool and people could just chuck their email address in and it would at least work. But I'm too sick to think about that right now. I'm going to go and lie down and close my eyes. Have a wonderful week. And hopefully I will see if I'm not sick. Again, I'll see you all next Sunday. Thanks a lot.